Good afternoon. This is JC, St. Louis's oldest living hippie, and I'm here to bring you an alternate article that scares the holy hell out of me, and I hope it scares the holy hell out of you because we got to stop this. We can't let it happen. Okay? It cannot happen. When I read this article, I get chills up and down my spine. But I want you to listen to this. This article is about Donald Trump and his presidency and the White House.
Worst case, conservative worried Trump does not intend to ever vacate the White House. Published by Alternet. One conservative journalist recently laid out his case for why he believes President Donald Trump will continue to entrench himself in the Oval Office in spite of the Constitution, and with the blessing of the other two branches of government. In a Wednesday essay for anti-Trump conservative website The Bulwark, editor Jonathan V. Last laid out a bleak picture for readers about both the power and influence Trump is wielding in his second term and the complicity of both the government itself and the electorate. Last pointed to the pace at which we are moving, and how Trump employs a mix of the ridiculous and the dangerous, to illustrate his point that Trump has already assumed a significant level of control over both politics and even culture that previous presidents have never had. He is the living embodiment of the Leviathan, the totalized state, Last wrote of Trump. No sector of American life exists beyond the reach of this president. There is no private sphere or civil society he feels should be outside his influence or control. There is only the dear leader, whose views must be considered in all matters. Last observed several key differences between Trump's first term and his current administration. Namely, that he has learned to operate outside the world of legislation and purely through executive power, and that his White House is staffed with button men who are willing to do whatever he demands, regardless of legality. He also lamented that the private sector has accepted subservience, that the GOP-controlled Congress has also completely submitted to Trump's will along with the American people. Last noted that polls today showed Trump with a higher approval rating today, approximately 40%, than he enjoyed in August of 2017, roughly 38%. The clear lesson is that a consistent share of about 44% of Americans want this, he wrote. And 44% plus dictatorial control of the government should be enough to retain power for quite some time. I realize the last 2 weeks have seemed interminable, but you haven't seen anything yet. We've got 3.5 years left under the best case scenario, he continued. In the worst case, our present condition will persist indefinitely. I keep saying this, but Trump is not behaving like a man who intends to ever vacate the White House.
There you go. The part that scares me is 44% of the people want a dictator. What is wrong with our country? What is wrong with these fools and morons in this 44%? I'm not sure I believe that statistic, but we have to stop them. The 44% plus Trump, we have to stop both of those entities. Trump and the fools who make up the 44% have got to go. We've got to stop them. And I'm right now telling you that voting is not going to do it. It's going to take more than voting because Trump may come up with some kind of reason for not holding the 2026 election if he induces martial law for some stupid reason. So don't think your vote's going to be there and it's going to count and that we can take over Congress and control them, because I'm believing at this point we're not going to have a 2026 election. So I would prepare for the worst, and that means I would go out and I don't know how to say it on TikTok without getting them to take it off, but make sure that you're ready for it, because there may be violence, and you need to be ready to fight against the violence that may show up, because there's going to be people who want Trump and people who don't, and the military may support him or they may not, and let's pray to God that the military doesn't support him and that they go after him. Even a military coup is better than Donald Trump. So this is JC saying, fuck you, Donald Trump. Fuck you, 44% of Americans who want a dictator. We want our democracy back, our republic. And if you're in the Pentagon, if you're in the military, stand up and say no to this asshole and to the people who want him. Stand up and say, no, we won't allow you to become a dictator. We won't allow you to stop the elections. We won't allow you to nullify the vote of the people. And hopefully they can stop him, and then we can have another fair election and get someone in office who will help the United States, help the people of the United States, as Joe Biden did. They always say Joe Biden did this, Sleepy Joe did that. Joe Biden did more for this country than any president in recent history, except for Dwight D. Eisenhower and John Kennedy, and probably Johnson. But those four are the main presidents who've kept this country afloat in the last 100 years. And we've got to find men like that now to take over and defeat Trump, or else remove Trump and put them in place through a military coup. Somehow this has got to happen. This is JC saying, fuck you, Donald Trump. Fuck you, 44%. Pock some more, Jack, and keep on trucking to all my friends, family, and followers. Have a great evening.